What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over a new batch of Persona 6 leaks. And let me just start off, and I normally say this in these videos, but let me say in the beginning, the fact that we're in this era is quite exciting to me. And what I mean by that is because we're getting all these rumors or leaks, and granted, a bunch of them can be complete garbage, okay? Do you see a lot of leaks on, like, the BioShock game that's 15 years away? Do you see leaks on Mafia? Well, you see a little leaks on Mafia, but my point is, the fact that we're getting these things, I feel like means we're one step away from the actual info and from getting really excited from what they show us, which is probably going to be pretty exciting, right? So just to kind of say that, I'm pumped. I like doing these things. One, to talk about the possibilities, but two, to talk about, hey, we're really close, I think, from getting official information. All right, so when it comes to this stuff, we actually have a couple different things going on. Bunch of different leakers, and they all have various degrees of believability on social media. And we're going to start with the talk of Persona 6 being on more than just PlayStation. Right now, this has been something that has gone back and forth and back and forth. And I'd say the prevailing theory or leak has been it's not going to be just on PlayStation. Now, whether that means it's not going to be just on PlayStation, like at launch it's going to be, say, on everything, or maybe it's going to be like a really tightened, and by tightened, I guess I mean like less, exclusivity window. It would come out maybe 6 months, maybe 12 months, and maybe that's it. You know what I mean? Like a year would be pushing it, and then it would come out to other consoles. So that has always been the back and forth. And we had recently Nate the Hate, and then it was actually backed up by a second leaker, talk about that exact thing, that from what they hear, the thing is not just going to be on PlayStation. In fact, because it was on Xbox podcast, it was that the game is going to be on Xbox as well. Now, again, they don't know if it's going to be on Xbox right away or if it would come out, over time. And then the additional info added to that leak, and this has been something that's been speculated for a while, the Switch 2, that they would get Persona 6 to be working on the Switch 2. I believe it. Let me just start there. I believe it simply because the actions that Atlus has taken recently have really shown, and I guess even Sega in general, have shown that they're all in on this kind of situation. You look at The Man Who Erased His Name, right, Sega, and that's on Game Pass. You look at what they've done specifically, if you just want to keep in the Persona family, you look at what they've done with Persona, they've gone all in. Now, that doesn't mean they're necessarily like switching sides like 1-to-1. They were all on PlayStation, now they're just all on Xbox and not on PlayStation. No, I think you could say woken up, you could say whatever you want, and you could say they have definitely said, we're not doing this anymore. And I think that's fair. I think they've talked about, like, their CEO or president, they've said before kind of the importance of getting this thing out on more than one place. Like, there's definitely been enough like literal like quotes or even leaks, but I would say even what they've said themselves, that like, yeah, they want this thing out because Persona is getting bigger. I think what people kind of forget, because it is such a diehard community and such like a tight-knit, and that's fine. Like, I think it's really cool. Persona has only gotten more popular, but it's really, I would say, and this might be a controversial take, it's really hit its peak and started to get even bigger with 5. Golden is really, to me, what like burst it out of its bubble of like getting it to more people, which is ironic because of where it came out on. I really think Golden did that. And then 5 was the one that really, it broke records, it sold faster. I mean, like, 5 did really well. And although 5 is not most of the fans' favorite, it is the one I'd say most people know of because it is the first Persona, I would say, for a large amount of people. So where am I going with this? When it comes to 6, I think Atlus, I think they know, like, okay, this might also be the first Persona that many people play. And also, we now have all of these people from 5 that we never had before, that this is their second Persona title. And you can argue, like, well, that's a lot of pressure, like, for the quality. Like, it's gotta be a really great game, Persona 6. And I think that's a very important point. But the second part to that is, now is their chance, and I think they realize this, to put it out in more places because they're like, okay, we're already getting bigger. We've already hit like a new level with 5. Let's hit another new level now with 6. And I really think that's the idea. Now, by the way, let me just throw this out there. Could the Switch 2 even handle this? The rumors of the Switch 2 is like it's going to be the power level of like what? Maybe PS4 and Xbox One. I guess it could probably handle Persona 6. It's not going to be, okay, like the handheld part of it is elite, and it will always be elite, and it'll always have kind of an advantage over the other consoles. The power level will be as always, like a generation and a half behind, which I guess is just what you would expect from the Switch. But we'll see if that ends up happening, but that's kind of the word on the street there. Okay, now part 2 to this that I want to talk about is, I mentioned 3 leakers, right? So the third is Head on the Block, and this is the person that is the most like 50-50, right? They have the least amount of trust from the people online, and they tend to wait for other leakers to confirm it, which is, by the way, that is a little meta, and that is a little funny that you're waiting for a leaker that you also don't for sure. Now, I do trust like the other leakers, but I'm just saying to keep things respectful and to keep things kind of honest. You don't know for sure if they're right, and you're waiting for them to back something else. It is kind of funny when you think about it. Anyway, the pressure has been on this person because they've gotten some things wrong, and they were asked kind of flat out, hey, and let's just read it. Why don't you tell us some things that won't hurt anybody? I don't know. The color theme, for example, is it green? Will Xbox also have the marketing of it like Metaphor? And then Head on the Block has to respond, right? It's green. Theme is black and white, 2 sides, and you can do things day or night. The 2 main characters' names start with a K and S. There's a foreign exchange student, and at least 1 DLC lets you fly. That's big. They told us the things that we like. The color scheme is something. The theme is something. They gave us characters' names. They said there's 2 main characters, so that's an interesting one. Day and night, you can do things during the day and during the night. DLC that you can fly. I mean, like, everything there is kind of big. And this is, I think, the make or break for this individual, right? Because these are, I would say, pretty specific. I mean, when you literally give a literal color name, you give the theme, you tell us if the names of the characters don't start with those letters, then you're wrong. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways this person could be right, and there's a lot of ways this person could be wrong. If they're right, oh boy. And I mean, I want to be excited for like specifically what they say. Again, they've been very kind of wish-washy. I don't even want to say as of late, kind of like in general. They get some things right, but they also don't. So we'll see what happens there. But that would be pretty exciting. And again, to my point, like at the very beginning of the video, this would be like the end. You know what I mean? Like once we've gotten here, there's only so much more you can say about the game before it's like, okay, like Atlas, you got to show us a trailer. And I do think we see a trailer and we see this game in 2020. We don't play the game. We literally see the game like as an announcement, I believe, in 2024. I know people have disagreed with me on that. I'm going to hold firm there. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel. Bell icon turn on. I hope to see you all on the next one.